Hi, and welcome to today's practice where we will warm up the body and prepare to explore and play with Virabhadrasana III, Warrior 3. So to get started, come to the middle of your mat in a seated position, whichever is comfortable for you. So you can cross your feet at the ankles or the shins, or maybe bring the heel to the groin. So choose whatever feels good. Remove the fleshy bits from your sit bones, sit directly on those sits bones, sitting up nice and straight, grounding down through the hips and lifting up out of the waist. Your hands can be wherever you'd like them to be, whatever's comfortable. Close your eyes, soften your gaze. We'll take a couple moments here just to adjust from where we come from to where we're going, and to connect with the breath. Let the mind and the body come into agreement in entering today's practice. So start to bring your attention to your breath and start to lengthen your inhales and your exhales. Take a little scan of your body. Notice where you're holding on to any tension, muscles you're using that you don't really need. You don't need your face. Let it be a mask. You don't need your shoulders up to your ears. You don't need your belly braced. You don't need your legs tense. See what it takes to relax and only use the muscles you need. And with your mind's eye, start to follow your breath. So follow your breath as it enters the nose, up and down the airway into the lungs. And then follow your breath as it comes up and out of the airway through the nose. Maybe you're able to feel your breath on your upper lip, maybe not. Let your breath be your anchor. Anytime you find your mind wandering and you're unable to focus, let your breath be what keeps you present in today's practice. And when you're ready, blink your eyes open or readjust your gaze. And we'll come to a tabletop position facing the top of your mat. So stacking your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. And spreading your fingers nice and wide as you push into the ground with a nice long neutral spine, tops of the feet pressing into the mat. Take 3 rounds of cat-cow here at the pace of your breath. So on your inhale, lower your belly, take your tailbone up towards the sky, gaze forward and slightly up. Don't crank your neck. And on your exhale, reverse it as you tuck the tailbone under, push into the mat with your hands, and release the crown of your head to the floor. Good. 2 more times, flow through that. Maybe with each round, you're able to find a little bit more space in each direction. Maybe not. Just noticing without judgment. And 1 more time through as you inhale. And exhale. When you finished your 3 rounds, come back to a neutral tabletop. Nice long spine, belly button drawn in. Pause. That inhale, send your right arm up to the sky as you twist open towards the right. Twisting from the belly button up. Exhale, thread your needle. Send your right arm up under your left armpit. Good. 2 more times. Inhale as you open up. And exhale as you twist. Good. 1 more time. Reaching up, spinning the chest open. Exhale, thread your needle. This time stay here. Lower your shoulder and your face down towards the mat. So you have options. Place your hand in front of your face. Or you can extend the left arm up and overhead. Or if you'd like to take the bind, just wrap the left arm around the body. Maybe grab the inner thigh. Maybe just the hip. Whichever you've chosen, press into your shoulder as you continue to deepen your twist. Softening with each exhale. Finding a little bit more space. So if you're in the bind or your arm is overhead, return your hand in front of your face. Press into the mat. As you unwind your twist, right arm comes up, twisting back open to the right. And then exhale, return your hands back to the mat and pause. So just noticing, taking a little moment in between sides, noticing the difference between the left and the right. And we'll move on. So inhale, circle sweep. That left arm up to the sky. Find your open twist. Exhale, thread your needle, send your arm through. Good, 2 more. Inhale to open. And exhale, close twist. Good, 1 more time. Inhale, open the chest, spin it open. Exhale, thread it through. Staying here, placing your shoulder and your face on the mat. Hand can stay in front of the face, maybe up overhead, maybe find the bind. You don't have to necessarily take the same option from side to side. It's your practice, do what you'd like. And stay here for a few breaths. Softening with each exhale. Maybe finding a little bit more space. Return your hand in front of your face. If it's not already there, press into the mat. As you unwind, twist open. And exhale, return your hand back to the mat. Back to your tabletop and pause. Good. Inhale, send your right leg out behind you, toes pointed down towards the ground. You can stay here or you can extend the left arm up in front of you, finding your spinal balance. If you need help with the balance, if this is really unstable, you can go ahead and tuck the back toes. Choose whatever works for you. Inhale as you lengthen in 2 different directions. Try not to dump into your low back. So really draw your belly button in, nice long spine. Exhale, sweep your left arm back behind you. You might have to bend the arm. And bring your right knee towards the chest. Okay. Inhale, reach the arm forward, extend the leg long. Exhale, send the arm back and bring the knee to the chest. Good. 2 more times as you're reaching. 2 different directions. And then send the arm back and the knee to the chest. Come back to your spinal balance. Pause here. Nice long spine. Inhale. Exhale. Take your bird dog crunch and bring your elbow to your knee. Good. 2 more times. Reaching and crunch. Good. 1 more. Reach it forward. Reach it back and crunch under the body. Nice. Come back to your spinal balance. Pause here. And then release the hand back to the mat. Keep the leg lifted. Bend your right knee. Keep everything nice and tight. So corset muscles hugging in, nice long neutral spine. But lift the leg as high as you can. So we're going into hip extension without dumping into the back. Keep the belly button drawn in. Lift the hip up. And then pulse up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Return your right knee back down to the mat. Send the hips back for a brief little child's pose. We'll only be here for 1 round of breath. Take a deep inhale here. And exhale. Come back to your tabletop and pause. Now we're going to play with the second side. Send your left leg back behind you, toes pointed down towards the ground. You can stay here. You don't have to add the arm or extend the arm out in front of you. Nice long line in your spinal balance. Take an inhale here. Exhale, swing the arm back. Bring the knee up. Nice. Again, inhale, reaching. Exhale, knee forward, arm back. Good. 1 more time. Reaching forward. Spinal balance. Tuck the toes if you need it. Send the knee forward. Send the arm back. Come back to your spinal balance. Pause here. Going into bird dog crunches. Exhale. Bring the knee to the elbow. Good. Reaching forward. Find your crunch. 1 more time as you lengthen. 2 different directions. Crunch up under the body. Good. Come back to your spinal balance and pause. And lower your hand back down to the mat. Keep the back leg lifted. Nice long spine. Bend the back knee. Lift up as high as you can without compensating. Belly in tight. Lift the hip. Pulse it up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release your knee back down to the mat. Send the hips back for a brief little child's pose. Stay here for one round of breath. Nice. Come back to your neutral tabletop. Pause here. Inhale, send your right leg out behind you. Exhale, step your foot in between your hands. So we're coming into a little low lunge, but keep the hands framing the foot. So make any adjustments you need if you need it to be longer or shorter for this to feel good in your body. Keeping the hands down. If you can reach the floor and it feels good, that's fine. If it's really far away, this is a great time to make use of your blocks. Blocks are great. A little tool to help us gain a little bit more length and not worry so much about the ego. So lengthening, stacking the knee over the ankle, drawing that heel, that front heel back towards the back of your mat, and really lengthening the spine. So bringing your chest forward through your shoulders. Squeeze your inner thighs in towards each other. This is a very active pose. It shouldn't feel easy. Nice. One more breath here. Good. Take one more inhale. And on your exhale, shift back. So send your hips back to stack over that back knee. And bring the toes up to the sky. So we're in our Ardha Hanumanasana, our half splits. You can bring the blocks back a little bit closer to the hips if you'd like. You choose whichever variation works best for you. Wherever you are, wrap your left hip towards the front and plug the right leg into the hip. So we're squaring the hips towards the top of the mat. Inhale, find a nice halfway lift, get long, and then exhale, fold forward. Don't hyperextend that knee. If you're hyperextender, keep it pretty soft. So engage the quads, lift the kneecaps up. Bend back into your front knee. Set your blocks off to the side if you have them. Place your hands to frame your foot. Send your right knee back to meet the left. And then dip back into a child's pose for just one round of breath. Inhale. Exhale. Come back to your tabletop. Pause here. Inhale as you send your left leg out behind you. Nice long spine. And then exhale, step your foot in between your hands. Find your variation. So take your time, find your feet. Maybe you need to move them more forward. Maybe you need to shift back, whatever feels good. Keeping your hands planted on either the mat or on blocks. You decide. Really pull that front heel back towards the back of the mat. Squeeze your legs in towards each other. Nice long spine. So whether you're on the mat or on blocks, really shining your chest forward, reaching out long. One more round of breath here. Good. Inhale here. Exhale, shift back, going into our Ardha Hanumanasana half splits. Make the adjustments you need. If you need to move your blocks, move them. If you need to move your hands, move them. Wrap the back hip, that right hip towards the top of the mat. Plug the left leg into the hip. Square your hips to the top of your mat. Find your half splits. Inhale, halfway lift. Nice and long spine. Exhale, fold forward. Keep that quad active. Don't let the knee hyperextend. And bend back into your front knee. Move your blocks if you have them. Place the hands. Send the leg back. Dip back into a child's pose ever so briefly. One round of breath. Good. Shift forward back to your tabletop. Tuck your toes. Send your hips up to the sky, coming into our first Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So the knees can be as bent as you need them to be. They don't need to be straight. And take a couple moments here in our first down dog. So walk out your dog, maybe pedal the feet or wag the tail, or whatever movements you need to get yourself settled. Get your wiggles out. And then find some stillness and hit those down dog checkpoints that we went over in the pose library. So the heels pressing down towards the mat, thigh caps lifted, legs spinning in and back, nice long spine. Shoulder blades spread far apart. Those upper arms are hugging in towards your ears, and your fingers are spread nice and wide as you are pushing the ground away. Belly button to spine. We don't want to dump into the wrists, so really make your hands nice and active. Release your neck. Inhale, lift the heels. Take your gaze between your hands. And on your exhale, bend your knees, step, jump, hop, float, hobble your way to the top of the mat. However you choose to get there, we meet in a forward fold, Uttanasana. Root to rise as you come to standing, Urdhva Hastasana, extended mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center, Samastitihi. We'll flow through one round of Ardha Namaskar, half salutation. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale as you fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Root to rise as you come to stand in your extended mountain pose. And drag your hands at heart center, Samastitihi. One round of Surya Namaskar A, sun salutation A. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hand, step back to your plank variation. So you can be on your knees or on your toes, take your vinyasa. So maybe you come halfway chaturanga or all the way to the belly. Take the back bend of your choice, either a cobra or an up dog. And we all make our way back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Pause here, 3 breaths. Hit those checkpoints. Good. Inhale, lift the toes, gaze forward. Exhale, make your way to the top of your mat. Step, hop, jump, however you choose to get there, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Good. Root to rise, come to stand, Urdhva Hastasana, arms up overhead. And drag the hands back to heart center, Samastitihi. Going into Surya Namaskar B, sun salutation B. Inhale, sit into your chair. So keep that tailbone tucked under. Maybe you don't go as deep. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, options. You can plant the hands and jump back to chaturanga, not plank, or step back to plank and take your vinyasa. So you decide what you want that to look like, and then take your back bend. And then make your way back to a downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky. Exhale, step your foot in between your hands, lower the back heel, rise up, find your Virabhadrasana, your warrior one on your inhale. Exhale, fold forward, pop the back heel, plant the hand, step back to your plank variation, take your vinyasa of choice. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Left leg comes up to the sky, inhale here. Exhale, step forward. Lower the back heel. Rise up on your inhale, find your Virabhadrasana, your warrior one. Exhale as you fold forward, pop that heel back up, step back to your plank variation, knees or toes. Take the vinyasa of your choice. And we all come back to a downward facing dog. Lift the toes, gaze between the hands. Make your way to the top of the mat. Step, hop, jump, float, whatever feels good. Forward fold. Halfway lift. And fold again. Sink back into your chair. Utkatasana. And then rise on your exhale to find your Tadasana. Hands at heart center. Nice. Inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, fold forward. Good. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to your downward facing dog. Nice. From here, lift your right leg up to the sky. And exhale, shift forward and step your foot in between your hands and lower your back knee. So we're back into our little low lunge, low runner's lunge. So choose whichever you'd like. If you want to have your blocks handy, you can have them there. You might need them in a moment. Or you can have them now. So squeeze those legs in towards each other. Nice long spine, gaze out in front of you. Good, inhale, rise up, arms overhead. Find your Anjaneyasana with the arms lifted. That heel is still drawing back, front heel still drawing back to the back of the mat. You're still squeezing your legs in towards each other. Take an inhale here. And on your exhale, you'll shift back to your half split. So you can take the blocks with you as you shift back and lower your hands to the blocks. Maybe take them back here, finding your half split. Inhale as you come back to your Anjaneyasana, arms up overhead. So you can use the blocks or the floor, or this time send the arms straight back for a little balance challenge, coming into your half splits with your arms back behind you, still squaring those hips to the top of the mat. Good, one more time as you bend back into your front knee, and then shift yourself back to your half splits, arms back behind you. Good, so return your hands either to the mat or to blocks. We're still in our half splits. We're still squaring our hips towards the top of the mat. Pressing into your blocks, whichever height variation you've chosen, you decide. Take an inhale here. And on your exhale, lift the front leg, any amount. And then lower. Good, and then lift. And then lower. And then lift and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the heel. Bend back into your front knee. Take your blocks with you if you want. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Nice long line. We're in a runner's lunge. So the only thing that's changed that we've lifted the back knee. So check your muscle engagement. You're still drawing that front heel back and squeezing the legs in towards each other. But now you're pressing through the back heel as well. And you still have a nice long spine, shining the chest forward. Just stay here for a round of breath in your runner's lunge. Nice. Return your blocks off to the side if you have them. Plant your hands, step back to your plank variation. You decide, knees or toes. Take your vinyasa, chaturanga or the belly, cobra or an up dog. Coming back to a downward facing dog. Second side, left leg comes up to the sky. Exhale, step your foot in between your hands and lower your back knee. So find your low runner's lunge. Decide if you want blocks or not. And have a nice long spine. That knee is stacked over the ankle. The chest is shining forward. Legs squeezing in towards each other. Front heel pulling back to the back of the mat. With each exhale, softening a little bit deeper into that back hip. Nice. Inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Legs stay the same. No need to move them there. Take an inhale here. And then exhale. You decide either hands on blocks or send them straight back to find your half splits, squaring the hips towards the top of the mat. Inhale, bend back into your low lunge. Exhale, send it back. Half splits. Good. Come back to your low lunge. And half splits again, this time staying there, squaring the hips. Lower the hands, either blocks or the floor. You decide where you want it to be. Take an inhale. You know where we're going. On your exhale, lift the leg. Good. And lower. And lift. And lower. And lift and hold for 5. Don't hold your breath. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the leg back down to the mat. Bend back into the knee. Set the blocks off to the side. No, sorry. Keep the blocks there. Tuck the back toes and lift the back knee. Stay here for a moment in your runner's lunge, knee lifted, still squeezing the legs in toward each other, still drawing the heel back towards the back of the mat with a nice long spine. Press to the back heel. Nice. From here, set the blocks off to the side. Plant the hands, step back to your plank variation. Take the vinyasa of your choice. And make your way back to a downward facing dog. Good. On your inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky. Exhale, shift forward. Bring your right knee towards your right elbow. Maybe tap it. Maybe you can reach it. And then on your inhale, send it back to a three-legged dog. Good. Exhale, shift forward. Do it one more time. So come into a little plank with your knee towards your elbow. Send it back to a three-legged dog. And then step your foot in between your hands, softly with control. Leave the back knee lifted. Rise up, finding your Alanasana, your crescent lunge. Nice. Inhale here. Exhale as you hinge forward. Lower your hands to frame your foot. You can bring your hands to the mat, or once again, find your blocks. From here, straighten your front leg or an extended pyramid pose. So just like with our half splits, wrap the hips to square towards the top of the mat. Take an inhale here as you lengthen, and then exhale, fold forward. Bend back into your front knee. Remove your blocks. Frame your foot with your hands as you step back to your high plank or plank on your knees, and then you take a vinyasa. And come back to your downward facing dog. Nice. Inhale, lift the left leg up to the sky. Exhale, shift forward. Bring the left knee towards the left elbow. Maybe you can touch it, maybe not. That's okay. Inhale, come back to your three-legged dog. Exhale, shift forward. Knee towards elbow. Good. Send the leg back up. Exhale, step your foot in between your hands. Stay high. That back knee stays lifted. Rise up. Find your Alanasana crescent lunge on the second side. Press through that back heel. Legs are squeezing in towards each other. Nice. One more inhale. Exhale as you hinge forward. Hands go either on the floor or on blocks. You decide. Straighten the front knee, coming into our extended pyramid pose. Wrap those hips, square them to the front of the mat. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Get nice and long out of the spine. And then exhale as you fold forward. Any amount. You decide. Do not let your knee lock out. Come back up. Bend back into your front leg. Remove your blocks. Frame the foot with your hands. Step back to your plank. Take your vinyasa. Nice. Coming back to a downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky. Exhale, shift forward. Bring your knee towards your right elbow. Right knee towards right elbow. Good. Send the leg back up. Exhale. Now, shift forward, but bring your knee towards your nose. Good. Send it back to a three-legged dog. Exhale, shift forward. Bring your right knee towards your left elbow. Maybe you tap it, maybe not. Come back to your three-legged dog. Exhale as you step your foot in between your hands. Rising up, finding your Alanasana, your crescent lunge. Nice. Take an inhale here. Exhale as you hinge forward. Send your arms back behind you, airplane lunge. So staying nice and long. Don't collapse, right? Still press through that back heel. Inhale as you rise back up to find your crescent. Exhale as you hinge forward, airplane lunge. Good. One more time, coming back up to crescent. And this time, hinge forward, find your airplane lunge. Then release your hands to either blocks or the mat. Straighten the front leg, coming into your extended pyramid. Fold forward. If you'd like more sensation, maybe bring the toes towards your face. Bend back into your front knee. Remove the blocks if you need. Rise back up to find your Alanasana crescent lunge. Take an inhale. On your exhale, twist to the right with open arms. Nice. Inhale, come back through center. And then twist again. Open arms. Back through center. One more time, twist. You can stay here in this twist or tip it back. So take your right arm towards your left leg and the left arm up towards the sky. Inhale as you come back to your crescent. Exhale as you hinge forward. Plant your hands on the ground or on the blocks. Shift your weight forward into your right foot and extend the left leg up to the sky for standing splits. Release the crown of the head towards the mat. Nice. And release the left foot to the mat. Left meets right. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Root to rise. Come to stand. Virabhadrasana. Exhale. Return to Tadasana. Pause here for a moment. Shift your weight now into your left foot. As you bring your right, come to the right toes. So you can stay here and play with the balance if this is where you are. Maybe you're just working on being able to balance on that one foot. Really grounding down through the tripod, right? The tripod foot. Keep the knee nice and loose. Don't lock it back. Quads engaged. So you can come to the toes or lift the leg any amount. If you have the space and you want to take it, maybe you bring your knee all the way to the chest. Interlace your fingers around your shin. Give yourself a little hug here. Just standing here in the balance. Standing up nice and straight. Grounding down to the feet, lifting up out of the waist. So you can stay here and play with your modified Utthita Padangusthasana. Or you can grab your big toe with your peace sign fingers and extend the leg out in front of you. Still pulling that front arm back into the socket. So working on squaring the shoulders to the top of the mat and the hips as well. And the left arm can be on the hips, out to the side, whatever helps you maintain balance. Just stay here for another breath. And then release your foot back down to the mat. Inhale, arms up overhead, extended mountain. Exhale as you fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to your plank variation and take your vinyasa. So you decide, maybe you come to the belly this time. You can skip the vinyasas if you like. Maybe just do a cat-cow and make your way back to a downward facing dog. Nice. Moving on, second side. Inhale, the left leg comes up to the sky. Exhale, shift forward. Bring your left knee to your left elbow. Good. Send it back, three-legged dog. Exhale, shift forward, knee towards your nose, maybe touch. And send it back. Shift forward, left knee towards the right elbow. Good. Take it back to your three-legged dog. And step your foot in between your hands. Find your legs first, no rush. Rise up, find your Alanasana, your crescent lunge. Good. Inhale here, press through that back heel. Exhale as you hinge and send the arms back behind you, airplane lunge. Good. Inhale. Come up to your crescent. Exhale. Send the arms back. Good. One more time. Coming up. Alanasana. Exhale. Hinge forward. Send the arms back. Return your hand. You choose either to blocks or the mat. Straighten the front leg. Coming into your extended pyramid pose. Square the hips to the top of the mat. Stay here and fold forward. Option, of course, to bring the toes up towards the face. You decide. Then bend back into your front knee. Rise up. Find your Alanasana, your crescent lunge. Good. Inhale here. Exhale as you twist with open arms to the left. Good. Come back through center. And twist again. Back through center. And twist and hold. You can stay here in your twisted lunge or you can send the arms back. So left arm back towards the right thigh and the right arm up towards the sky. Then unwind your twist, coming back to your crescent, and then hinge forward. Hand can find the blocks or the ground as you shift your weight into your left foot. Send the right leg up to the sky. Find your standing splits. Release the crown of the head to the ground. Okay. Lower the right foot to meet the left. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold forward. Good. Root to rise, come to stand, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, release the hands to Tadasana. Pause. Nice. Then shift your weight into your right foot and do whatever variation feels good to you. So you can play. You don't have to be tied into one. You can do all of them. You can do some of them. You can do none of them. But come to the toes. Really ground down to that right foot. So really get your foot planted first. Your little tripod. Don't lock the knee. Playing with the balance. Maybe bringing the knee to the chest. You can play with just balancing here without holding on. Maybe. And release the fingers around the front thigh, shin. I know my body parts, I promise. And then lengthen. All right, ground down to the foot. Lift up out of the waist, standing up nice and tall. So you can stay here, or, of course, you can grab the big toes, extend the leg out, square the hips and the shoulders to the top of the mat. If you really like the Ashtangis, you can play with releasing the leg and keeping it up without letting it lower. You decide what works for you. And then lower the foot back down to the mat. Circle sweep arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Good. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, your plank variation, and take your vinyasa. And we'll all meet in a downward facing dog. Nice. On your next inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky. And then exhale, step your foot in between your hands. Pause here. So we're in our runner's lunge. Grab your blocks, if you'd like. Nice long spine. Squeeze those legs in toward each other. So we're going to practice that squeezing. It's very important for where we're going. So squeeze your legs in toward each other. And we'll do 8 Suzanne Summer Thigh Master squeezes. So squeeze them in for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Squeeze as hard as you can. Really squeeze those legs together. And then dial it down to maybe 50% of where you just were. Good. From here, shift your weight into your front foot. So shifting into the right foot. Take your blocks with you. You decide the height variation that you'd like. We're going into our Warrior 3. So into Warrior 3, that standing leg is planted nice and strong. We're grounding down through the feet. The kneecaps lifted. The quads are engaged. The back toes are pointed towards the ground, the toe and the knee. And the hips are squared to the mat. So blocks are great here because they allow us to actually lift up to find the space that we need. We're aiming to actually be parallel from the back of the foot out of the crown of the head. So it's not really about how high you can get your leg, okay? It's about being able to be one long parallel line with the floor. So blocks are great here for that. It can help you get set. And then from here, you decide, squeeze those legs in toward each other. So notice if you let go of that engagement of squeezing the legs in. And then you can play with your balance. So you can bring the hands to prayer. There's lots of options. These aren't limited to just these. Hands back behind in an airplane, maybe out in front, maybe out to the side, or any variation you choose to take. And just play here for a moment. If you fall out of it, that's great. We all do it. Just come back into it. And when you've done having a play, bend deeply into your front knee as you gently lower the back toes down. So come back into your runner's lunge. You decide what that looks like for you. And then set the blocks off to the side, plant the hands, and step back to a downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift your left leg up to the sky. Exhale, step your foot in between your hands and pause. Find that runner's lunge. Maybe find your blocks. Squeezing those legs in towards each other. Nice long spine. Pressing through the back heel, pulling the front heel back towards the back of the mat. And we'll do our little squeezes. So squeeze it in for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Squeeze as hard as you can. Keep the integrity of the pose. Then dial it back to about 50%. Shift your weight into your left foot. Take the blocks with you as you come into your warrior 3 on the second side. And here, decide to play with what you like. Squeeze those legs in together. Toes and knees pointed down towards the ground. Hips are pointing down towards the ground. Keep a micro bend in that standing leg, grounding down through the feet. Lifting up out of the hips. So don't dump. Lift up nice and long, looking for a nice clean line. And then choose your arm variation. You decide, you can even make it dynamic. Just swing the arms back and forth or from side to side. Whatever works for you, just play. We always take everything so seriously. This is a time to explore. See what you can do, what you like to do, what you don't like to do. Information. It changes from day to day. And then when you're finished playing, bend back into that front knee, lower the back foot down. Come back to your runner's lunge. Find it. Notice the legs. Take a breath. Nice. Set your blocks off to the side. Plant the hands. Step back to your downward facing dog. And then lower down to your knees so you're back in the tabletop. From here, cross your ankles behind you. Come to sit on your bottom. Send your legs out in front. Plant your feet on the mat. And then Pilates style, lower down one vertebrae at a time. Coming into laying on your back. Good. So place your place your right ankle over your left thigh. And then hug your legs in towards the chest. So grab what you can grab. Maybe it's the back of the thigh. Maybe you're able to reach through and interlace the fingers around the front of the shin. And then just relax into the pose. Relax your neck and relax your shoulders. You don't need them. Now you just let gravity do the work. Just stay here for a few breaths and sink in. Return your foot back down to the mat. Keep your legs crossed. Keep your right ankle crossed over your thigh, but let your left knee and your right foot fall to the left. Send your arms out in a T-cross position or practice the arms. Take your gaze off to the right for a little spinal twist. If there's a different twist variation you'd like to take, if you need or want more sensation, then you can take it. You can stack the knees on top of each other, extend them out long. You decide what you need. And then bring the knee back up to pointing towards the sky. and return your right foot back down to the mat. Second side. So take the left ankle and cross it over the right thigh. Hug it in. Grab whatever you can grab. Release everything else. Release your face, your neck, your jaw, your shoulders. Just breathe. Stay with your breath. Notice if your mind has started to wander. As we start cooling down, we tend to release being in the present. See if you can stay here. Return your foot back down to the mat. Take your right knee and your left foot over to the right. Gaze over to the left, arms out wherever you like in a T-cross position, palms up or palms down, maybe cactus the arms. Just decide, it doesn't always have to be the same every day. And come back through center. Return your left foot back down to the mat. Take your feet a little bit wider than your hips and your arms down by your side, palms face down. So maybe bring your knees in a little bit closer. Maybe you can touch the heels of your feet with your fingers. Going into Setu Bandhasana bridge pose. So you can do this more as a restive pose. So you can place a block up under your hips. So lift your hips and place a block there if you'd like. Or if you'd like to go deeper into your bridge pose, if you have the energy and the space for it, lift the hips. Do not move your neck in bridge pose. So keep the neck nice and long as you lift the hips up to the sky. Pressing into the mat with your arms. Heels pulling back as well. Go as high as you like, what you're comfortable with. If you like taking the bind here, you can do that. So squeeze those shoulders up under you. Interlace the fingers as you release your fists into the mat. And maybe you had it yesterday and you don't have it today. Maybe you didn't have it yesterday and you do have it today. Just use this as an opportunity to explore yourself. And gently lower the spine back down to the mat. Finally lowering the hips. And from here, extend your legs out long and wide along the mat. Palms face up, arms out to the side, entering our Shavasana. If there is something else you would like to take, a happy baby or a plow or any other pose that your body is itching to do, feel free to take it. Of course, it's your practice. And then when you're ready, get yourself settled into your Shavasana. Releasing your body, trusting the floor to hold you, letting go of all the tension. Let your body marinate in all the work you just did. I invite you to stay in Shavasana for as long as you are able and would like. Thank you for letting me guide you through your practice today. It is always an honor. Until we meet again, namaste.